Hello, and welcome to the Paranormal Operator YouTube channel, where we talk about all manner of things that go bump in the night. Here, we talk about news, investigations, sightings, and, of course, popular media surrounding the paranormal, supernatural, and occult phenomena. I'm your host, Operator 23. On this episode of Operator Movie Reviews, I will give you my initial reaction to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is a pretty good movie, and I would definitely recommend going to see this in the cinema if you want a good movie going experience. This movie this year definitely is going to check that box. If you're a fan of the original Ghostbusters or a fan of this recent iteration, then you are more than likely going to enjoy it. Don't listen to those people on Rotten Tomatoes who say that apparently the 2016 Ghostbusters, which shall not be named, was better than this. I wholeheartedly disagree. So, I'm not going to get into specifics. This is, after all, spoiler free. So don't feel like you got to turn away. I will hint maybe at a little here and there, but I'm not going to go into anything specific. So while there are some reused plot threads, story points from Afterlife, the story of Ghostbusters, and more importantly, the story of the Spanglers, is progressed. So the story does get pushed forward. It's not just a rehashing of the second movie. Although you could make an argument that there's enough of it that maybe it detracts, but I thought it was a pretty good movie overall. Now, there were some people in the community and the fandom that were concerned once they saw the trailer and they saw a handful of comedians who are in this movie, and they were like, oh my god, this is going to be horrible. They're going to get in there. They're going to make it terrible. I'm happy to report that most of those people that there was concern about, they don't really play that much into the story itself. So that's good. And yeah, you don't really have to worry about them. There's really only one character that plays kind of integral to the plot. So, um, yeah. But I'm going to leave that for you guys to discover. Overall, this 2 hour movie did not feel like 2 hours. It held my attention the entire time. Nothing took me out of this movie. I was engaged the whole time. Um, as far as, the effects, the music, the sound, all of that was very iconic Ghostbusters. And while some people might be like, oh, you need new music every movie, it's like, not so much, right? Because they're going for the iconic Ghostbusters feel, and the way that they deployed music and the original soundtrack, I think it was done very well. There are some original effects, and there are also some modern CGI, obviously, but it still feels like Ghostbusters. It doesn't feel like a different movie. So you would recognize this as Ghostbusters. So um, spot on for what they did there. The acting also spot on. Pretty much all the characters are believable. All the character motivations make sense. Really, except for one, and it might just be that they didn't have time to put it in to explain it. But mechanically, pretty much everything fit together fairly well. There were a few things I think they could have left out. There's some stuff they could have trimmed. I think they could have focused the story a bit better as far as, how where you have your plot and your B plot. Um, and just generally trimmed a little bit of fat. But even with that, I would say that while there is stuff that's reused from Afterlife, overall, this movie does keep the story progressing. The story progresses, the characters develop, even if the development's not all that much. I think they could have done a little bit better on that. And overall, I know I keep saying that word, I gotta come up with a different word. So, at the end, though, my verdict is 3.7 out of 5. Now, this score is very likely to go down the harder that I look at this movie. Um, I've already found a few things that were like, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Why did the writers decide to do this? And some of it was just the movie's got a movie, I guess. But overall, I'd say it was a good movie. It is definitely a solid 3. It is in the 3 territory. And again, had they kind of refocused the story and trimmed some of the fat off, it easily would have been in the 4s. So, as it stands, I'm going to give it my initial verdict as a 3.7 out of 5. Again, I recommend this movie if you're going to see it in cinemas. Take your family. It's a family movie. There's a little bit of adult humor here and there. Of course, some of it you saw in the trailers. I think kids will find it very relatable. And it is a family film. That's really what it is. It's more of a family film, more so than maybe the originals, which were kind of more of an adult comedy-esque kind of movies. But I think the kids will really enjoy this one, as well as will the parents, and even people who don't necessarily have kids but are just fans of the franchise. So, yeah, go see this movie, guys. Give it some love. Let Sony know that we want Ghostbusters to continue rolling. We want to keep the Ghost Core, the production company, alive, and we want them to keep making movies. So long as they make good movies, we wanna give them that positive feedback. And I'm not saying that this movie is excellent. It's not. It's not perfect. There are a few things that are wrong. Could have been done better. But again, as a whole, I think that it works. Everything can work better. You can look at it, the best of the movies, and there's going to be stuff that might not quite make sense. It happens. It happens to everybody. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think that if you go see it, you're going to enjoy it too. And sometime, I don't know when, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to make it back to the cinema, because I've been really busy here lately, so that's why I haven't been posting anything. But I will be going back to the cinema. I want to see this again before I give it a full breakdown and review. And I'm not sure when that's going to be. But I saw the very first screening of it today at 2 o'clock. And if you can make it to the cinema this weekend, I feel like they're probably going to be packed out. Or at least I hope they will. Because the cinemas need our help too. They haven't fully recovered. So, guys, I hope you go out and see it. I hope you enjoy the movie. And until next time, keep searching in the darkness.